He's Tony. I'm Mike. We're continuing our 2024 Spooktacular with 1999's Idle Hands.
Anton Tobias never had much on his mind, and he always had time on his hands until one of them got a mind of its own.
I have no control over my hand. It makes him do things I don't want him to do.
Aren't you a little old for Ding Dong Dip?
Call 911. What's the number?
Now, his hand won't stop. His friends won't die.
You're dead. Undead, actually.
And the only way to stop it
Idle hands are the devil's playpen, so keep my hands occupied, right?
is to keep it busy.
Did you lose something there, bud?
Idle Hands. The touching story of a boy and his hand.
This was supposed to be our first movie review for Halloween, but we had some technical issues and some corrupted files, so here we are, shooting it again for your entertainment. Absolutely, absolutely. So really quickly, just to burn through the cast real quick, we got Devon Sawa as Anton.
So why don't you bring me over a dimer?
This ain't Domino's, you lazy bitch. Come over here and get it.
Come on, man, I'm comfortable.
Seth Green as Mick.
That's chronic. Oh, I'm sorry, man, this bonnie's cash.
Elden Henson as Nub.
So I came all the way over here, you said you was holding.
I didn't say what I was holding.
Jessica Alba as Molly.
I should not be here, Molly.
Safer in here than on the streets. Don't you know there's a killer out there?
And Vivica A. Fox as Debbie.
You're quite certain that this is the right man.
Well, I'll tell you, Sister Liquor.
That's liqueur. Debbie's fine.
She had a name? Yes. Debbie? Okay, all right. Yeah, again, I don't know why they gave her a name. I don't know why she's in this movie, to be honest with you. To wrap it all up in a neat, clean bow, that's really about it. So I mean, she's barely in it, but whatever. You want to tell us about the plot? Really quickly, the setup is this. So you got Anton, who's your typical 90s slacker, barely shows up to school, barely does anything, just wakes and bakes and just kind of carries on with his day.
4 bodies have been discovered to date, and the killer is still at large.
Well, he notices that after a while, his parents, he hasn't seen them in a few days.
I haven't seen my parents in a couple of days.
Maybe they're dead. Party at Anton's.
Later that evening, he finds his parents.
Dad?
They are dead, and it comes to find out that he is the one that killed them.
The killer was wearing your shirt.
And his hand goes crazy, and from there, shenanigans ensue.
You sure?
I know it surprised you when you discovered that I actually enjoyed this movie. Yes, tremendously. Like, really, I was ready for a full-on, like, just shit fest for a good 20 minutes. And yet I surprised even you on this one. But then I went and I did some digging, and I found out this movie is not terribly well reviewed. It's not terribly well received at all. Even Roger Ebert wrote kind of, you know, this movie, the premise could work if it was more outrageous than it is, but it seems so lackadaisical. And I'm thinking, it's a stoner comedy. That's kind of the point, Roger. You know, if you're not high, getting stoned does not make you motivated. Quite the contrary. So I'm going to say that from a humor standpoint, this handled the jokes amazingly well. I find it interesting that this is a 1999 film, and there's nothing about the internet in this film.
He sits and watches TV. Yeah, he sits and he watches TV. He is too much of a slacker to be bothered to get a modem and dial up and hook up to AOL and all that.
Did they even show cell phones in this movie?
Not that I'm aware of.
And if they do, it's got to be like super brief. Yeah, it's absent of all technology except for TV.
Rewatching this film, because we had to review it again, and I like to come in fresh, and it was just one of those little quirky things that if I hadn't watched it twice in a week, I would never have caught on to that. But I did catch on to that. The performances in this film are perfect. Seth Green is far and away the funniest character in this film.
Oh yeah, he by far has the best lines.
Yeah.
Oh, look at me, I'm Leatherface.
It's not just that he has the best lines, but he has the best delivery of those lines. And I'm going to say that mixing oregano and sage will not get you high.
I hear if you combine nutmeg and oregano, you can get pretty wasted.
It'll make your kitchen smell delicious and scorch the hell out of your throat, but it would, no. I've heard nutmeg will get you high if you smoke that. You're supposed to mix it with something. I don't remember what. There was a multitude of rumored, alternatives in the event that you couldn't score a baggie.
I mean,
back in the day.
But even back in the day, I mean, it was still pretty easy to come by. I mean, most people I knew, it was very rarely could you not score a dime bag or even just a joint, back in the day. It was pretty easy. I mean, even when I was like 12, 13, 14 years old, it was pretty easy to score a joint.
But that all being said, the way that they handle that and the way that they handle the fact that, it's completely dry, everybody's out of bud, and nobody can get any, and then, oh, no, it turns out that Seth Green and Nub are actually, they're holding out because Anton is a little too prolific in his waking and baking habits. So all that works, all that tracks, and when Anton leaves and they decide to go ahead and, oh, hey, look what I found.
Yeah. Looky what I found. I thought you were dry.
I guess not. Fire me up.
Been there. Done that. I'm just saying. That being said, the way that they introduce Anton's crush on Jessica Alba is particularly incredibly well handled. In that there's no big intro to it. There's just they know that she's his dream girl, and they just ride him hard about that one.
They see her like casually cruise by on her scooter. Like, oh, there's your dream girl, It's like, dude, just go talk to her, Ask her to the dance or something stupid like that.
What would I say?
Hear your name.
Yeah, man, she's waiting for you.
No, man, she's not waiting for me.
Would you stop being such a puss and go, ask her to the dance?
Yeah, and that's the other thing, too. This is a film that has a school dance in it, which, if you have watched the show for any period of time, I hate high school movies that have school dances in it. This is an exception because, number one, it's not prom or homecoming. Number two, it's actually something that is used well within the context of the film. It is there as a plot device, but it's not just about going to the dance. Nobody else intended on going to the dance. They just decided that, hey, you know what? It gives Anton an excuse to talk to Jessica Alba.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but like in the context of the movie, there's all these murders are going on and stuff, so there's a curfew, so there's nothing else to do but go to the dance.
Halloween thing in the gym, 9 o'clock curfew, no trick-or-treating allowed. Dumbass dance is the only option.
And again, perfectly handled. It makes perfect sense. And the other thing it does is it gives them permission to get Seth Green with a bottle sticking out of his head and Nub with his head duct taped back on to be able to go out into public without actually causing a stir because, hey, they're just in their Halloween costumes. That bit works really, really well. Jessica Alba's friend, who Nub has a crush on, her demise is hilarious. and the joke about, hey, you can still get a piece.
Go back that way. You're really not gonna get me.
It's just unfair.
Well, you can go back if you want to get a piece.
Somewhere over there or some shit. Jessica Alba in this movie is a complete freak.
Yes.
Which is funny that they go that route with their, because when they're Anton's up in her room and the hand gets a little frisky, it grabs a handful of Jessica. I was like, ooh, I'm impressed.
I'm impressed. I never would have thought you'd have the balls to just grab me like that.
And then when he's trying to tie the hand to the bedpost so it doesn't kill her, she's like,
you're kiki.
It's me.
I actually appreciate the fact that they gave her some dimension. They gave her some depth. And I like the fact that she wasn't the good girl, you know, clutching her pearls. Oh, you touched my bottom. Oh, my derriere. I have the vapors. so yeah, I'm glad that she's actually kind of a little on the freaky side on this one, because that happens.
My other side characters I like too are the two dork cops. When they first get introduced and Anton's cruising down the alley after coming back from the grocery store, they stop him. And, oh, hey, Anton.
Thought you were too cool for us, huh? Did you ever, even once, invite us to get high behind the gym?
You were dorks.
He was like, well, you guys were dorks. and Anton
he tries to score weed off of them.
Either you guys holding? What? I know you guys didn't get in the evidence room, so I was thinking
you asshole! You're trying to score from a cop?
That was one of the unexpected, really funny moments. I laughed my ass off at that. And then they were going to try to arrest him because he had a baggie that smelled like it had weed in it at one time. Yeah, that all tracks.
Yeah. Of course, you got the resident metalhead, Randy, always working on his Ford, and kind of gives your, kind of explanation of why the hand's going crazy, like, idle hands, man, the devil's playground. That's why I'm working on the Ford, Yeah.
I used to be like that. Get into all kinds of stupid shit. The trick is to keep yourself busy. That's why I'm always working on the Ford.
The fact that it's a fucking Ford. Found on road dead.
Flipped over, rusted out dumpster.
Fucked on race day. You can go on and on.
I actually love his character. Now, he was
really
he was in the Brady Bunch movie. He was one of the neighbor kids in the Brady Bunch movie, and he was a lot of fun in that one. But he's particularly fun in this film, and that obviously knowledge of Motley Crue and Iron Maiden is going to give you an inside line to the occult. So that's, all the lyrics in the world, they'll definitely let you know what's going on. So the fact that he actually knows what he's talking about makes it even funnier. And he plays it just right. It's not over the top. There are so many movies that when you see high schoolers and they're playing a metalhead, they're always like so over the top. And he's right there. He reminds me of the guys that I hung out with in high school, and perfectly so.
What's up, Anton? Nice outfit.
So let's briefly talk about Vivica Fox and her all of 2 minutes on screen time. And I still think that they could have just had Randy handle that whole occult thing. He kind of had his hands in it anyway. I think he could have covered that part. I mean, I guess you get the first glimpse of Copperhead before Kill Bill. I don't know. It's just kind of pointless.
I wouldn't say I was going to say she's in the film. She serves one purpose. She has one joke.
Yeah.
They both work because she's the like fifth generation of someone who's entrusted to hunt down this particular evil that pops up. It's a demonic force, and her family, her bloodline has been the one that has kept it at bay all this time. She shows up with the knife. She stabs it. When she stabs it, there's no big fireworks or sparkles or anything. It just goes...
That's it?
That's that. And even Seth Green is kind of like, that's it? That's the whole thing. And then she goes, now it's time for the ritual sex. So Randy gets what he's got coming to him. It's all good.
But every time they cut to her, it takes away the momentum of the movie. When they break to her, it's a distraction.
Don't you fuck with me, mister.
He's up there, kitten.
Someone had to have the dagger, and you couldn't just go and pick it up at the mall gift shop. No.
Whatever. Now, who I think doesn't probably get enough love in this movie is actually Anton, Devon Sawa, because his physical comedy in this is so damn good, and I think it's a shame that he didn't do more comedic roles like this, especially physical roles, because he could have been the next type of Jim Carrey type of character without being Jim Carrey, without being over top in that regard.
Yeah. I was looking for my cat. We got in a fight.
You sure got your ass kicked.
I did okay.
I have notes. So this movie was the victim of a lot of weirdness around this one. This film had a budget of $25 million. It had a box office of $4.2 million. So it was a dud. I mean, it splatted when it made it in the theater. But the problem with this film was that it came out the same month as the Columbine Massacre. And because of that, Columbia was considering pushing the film's release. They didn't. That was a mistake. Yeah. They canceled the premiere for this film, so there's no big, introduction to this young cast of up-and-coming stars. Theaters in Colorado refused to carry this film. So you had all that going to get it, and then you had a bunch of satanic panic congressional hearings about violence in media, and this film was pinpointed as well, what about movies like Idle Hands? And the reason for it is because the whole bit at the dance, there was some school violence going on in that, because the demonic force was there, and often students, and which is
so lame.
Just the lamest, most bullshit, oh, look over there, example I can think of all the movies to point to a violence in media. Let's not point to a Schwarzenegger or a Stallone film, no, because they've got money and publicists, and they can fight back. Yeah. Let's go after the little bitty film with a bunch of up-and-coming stars that no one's heard of, and blame it on them because it had weed and a demonically possessed hand in it.
And metal. Whoa.
These evil people have just got to be stopped.
Exactly. Give me a break on this one. So, yeah, but just everything about this movie was sunk intentionally. It was targeted intentionally. I will also say that Jessica Alba, this is a movie that put Jessica Alba on the map, because while this did not do well in theaters, it did do well on home video. Yeah. It was a rated R film, actually, but it was a rated R film geared towards teenagers, so they knew where their money was going to be coming from.
Now, that being said, there is zero nudity in this movie at all.
No.
There's no busts, there's no tits, there's no nothing there. There's hardly any cussing at all. I mean, there is graphic violence in there.
Yes. Yeah, the makeup effects are surprisingly good.
Yeah, they're very funny.
Oh, yeah. No. It's physical comedy to the extreme. It definitely falls in that same kind of category as the Evil Dead 2 movie. In that it's almost, slapstick with gory slapstick.
It is very slapstick for sure, yeah. One thing we didn't talk about is the needle drops in this movie.
Oh!
This thing has fantastic needle drops. Every time they show Randy shot the devil plays. for a brief period there, Rob Halford was out of Judas Priest, and he started his own metal band, or industrial metal band. I think it was produced by Trent Reznor too. The band was called Two, and there's a song in there called "I Am Pig," and it's a very underappreciated industrial metal song. And then my favorite needle drop is when the buddies walk in. The parents are like dead there on the floor. It's like when Anton first discovered them, and Pop That Coochie is on TV like, oh man, I love this song. I thought this video was banned. And there's out there dancing, Pop That Coochie, Pop That Coochie.
Best part, dude.
Pop that coochie, pop that coochie, baby.
Oh yeah, shake 'em, baby.
I forgot about that. Yeah, no. That is most definitely one of the more unforgettable moments in this film.
And then Offspring makes a cameo in this as well.
Yeah,
and he dies.
And well, they actually do a really solid Ramones cover in this that I really enjoyed.
To 1 and 20, 24 hours ago, I wanna be sedated, nothing to do, nowhere.
But yeah, his death was really satisfying. So at the high school dance, but no, this movie, it's a shit ton of fun. The humor, if this is your brand of humor, it will all land. It will scratch that itch. It's definitely funny. It's not too much a stoner comedy. It's not too much a horror comedy. It falls right in the middle.
Yes.
On the dial, so it just worked for me. I actually enjoyed it, and again, I know that surprised the shit out of you, but no, I did enjoy the hell out of this movie.
Yeah.
So
this is an absolute recommend for me. I own this movie, so it is a buy for me for sure. And like you said, this is one of those that you had to have discovered at the video store, or somebody had to tell you about this, because it's, like I said, there was no release. I stumbled upon this, I think, at Jeffco Market in Imperial one night, just after a party or some shit like that, or just one of those lazy nights you had nothing better to do. Saw it there, I was like, oh, fuck it, why not? And just have loved it ever since.
The rest is history.
It sure is. It sure is. That's what I got. You got anything else?
That's everything I can think of on this one. I mean, it's a solid, fun movie. If you, like I said, if you got a crowd that's not too into horror films, throw this on. It's Halloween appropriate, and it will scratch that itch. It's just right in the center. It's not too over the top. So yeah, it's an absolute recommend.
All right, cool.
So,
well, we'll see you guys next time.